Hi, my name is Tiffany Camps, and today I would like to discuss the topic that I chose in the class with the material, the with the book Create Success. I chose to discuss the topic being culturally responsive and basically honing in on culturally responsive instruction in a classroom. Um, Culturally responsive instruction comes from the CREATE model. The CREATE model is an instructional model for closing the achievement gap. And with that comes the culturally responsive instruction, rigorous expectations and rewards, essential focus planning, accessory for mastery during class, the test model, and extra one on one support for those struggling students. What does it mean to be culturally responsive in a classroom? To be culturally responsive in the classroom, it means to um, empower students with using their intellectual needs, social and emotional, using language and content that is relatable and clear to understand. It means taking students' backgrounds, race, culture, and fostering that in a classroom. So bringing in materials, books, pictures, artifacts, whatever that may be, to relate to your students and to get your lessons, to relate to the students and to also bring the lessons alive. Um, in doing so, you don't want to create lessons that's offensive to the students, but lessons that the students will appreciate and learn from. Building culturally responsive relationships. You want to learn about the student's background. You want to do your own research. You want to ask questions, not to pry, but to ask questions to really try to get a clear understanding of the students that you're going to teach. You want to go online, but then you also want to use real life people. It may be, utilize your resources at the school, other teachers, other mentors, people in leadership, just so that you're doing it in the correct way and not being offensive to anyone. You want to try to connect with the most difficult students in the classroom. See what their interests are. See what kind of materials they like. See what kind of books they like. See what they're into, and then try to bring that and incorporate that in your lessons. Because at all times you want to keep it interesting for the students, but also you want to stay and stick with the curriculum as well. You want to ask questions, the necessary questions, but you never want to be offensive. No questions that's going to be rude or questions that's going to have the students, not liking you or, feeling some sort of way. So you definitely want to make sure that you are asking questions that's important to what you're trying to get your point across, or that's important to your lesson. Um, you want to use the textbook as a resource, but not the only source. So you definitely want to try to go online and get some more research and definitely figure out what's going on. Get some more background information. Like I said, use other people as a resource for you, so that you're not only utilizing the textbook. And then even when it pertains to the curriculum, you definitely want to you want to stick to the curriculum, and you want to use the textbook that's provided from your district. But you also want to liven it up a little bit. You kind of want to bring a little individuality in a classroom and show the students that you care, and that you're really paying attention to the things that they want to talk about and what's important to them. You want to build on student strengths and use these to help students learn. Um, how do I plan on being culturally responsive in the classroom? I plan on being culturally responsive in the classroom by utilizing my resources, bringing in some of the extra materials that's needed. I also plan on doing some background research on the students, making sure that I'm asking my students questions, asking them, getting their input, making sure that I'm checking to see, that what I'm doing is important to them, not only important to me, but just making sure that I'm really honing into what we're going to do in the classroom. I also plan on at the beginning of the class focusing on what the students do at home. Asking those questions like, well, hey, what holidays do you celebrate? How do you guys do this at your house? And definitely getting that core background information on my students before jumping into new lessons or new materials. And I guess when it's time to introduce new materials, figuring out ways that I can be innovative and creative, bringing those new materials and those new lessons in the classroom for the students. And always just making sure that, you are speaking a language that is positive, that is encouraging. You never want to discourage your students. You never want to talk down to them. You definitely want to set high expectations and set goals for them. No one's saying that don't set high expectations for them. Don't expect them to excel or do well, but set goals that are attainable and reachable and that are realistic. We want our students to succeed, and we never want them to be discouraged about doing well in school and obtaining new information and getting new material. We definitely want them to be encouraged. So at all times, we want to make sure that these goals are realistic to them, and they're definitely obtainable. We also want to keep it going. We want to make sure that the way that we're delivering our materials and our lessons, we are being creative. We don't want to reinvent the wheel, but we definitely want to get their input. If there's a next topic that you want to cover, try to get their input. Let them choose. I always use this as an example for my students. I teach younger children, so sometimes I only give them two choices, and out of those two choices is choices that I want. So with older students, you definitely can give them about 5 choices and say, hey, this is the next thing we're going to learn about. How should we go about learning about it? Should we bring some materials in? Should we go somewhere? Should we visit something? Should we bring somebody in? Definitely letting them take charge of their education is key. So at all times, we want to remain culturally responsive in our classroom, so that we are respectful to our students, so that they can be respectful to us. This concludes my presentation on being culturally responsive and delivering culturally responsive instructions in the classroom. I hope you enjoyed it. My resource is the Create Success textbooks that we had. I really enjoyed this class. I definitely have a lot that I have taken away that I'm really ready to incorporate in my own classroom. I kind of had some paradigm shift. It was kind of a paradigm shift for me, reading the material and diving into just a certain way that I was thinking about some of my students. And I'm glad that I was able to experience this in this class. This is all. Hope you enjoyed it. Thank you. Bye.